What's up, Mets fans? We are back in New York after a wild weekend in Kansas City. Some fans are actually still traveling back to New York. It's been a wild weather. We've been having wild weather out here in New York for the past about 18 hours or so. I was delayed in Philly. Lizzie actually just got back to New York, an hour ago, Lizzie?
Around noon.
Around noon. So Lizzie's commute from yesterday to get home to today is about 20 hours. Got stuck in Charlotte for the night, but she's back here safe and sound.
Oh, my God.
Pete, who didn't have to travel much this weekend. How you doing, Pete?
Yeah, I'm great. I'm refreshed. Slept like 10 hours last night.
Great.
I'm good.
Yeah, it's been wild, and I've been following along and feeling sorry for all the fans that got stuck in Kansas City, Lizzie included, who almost caught Pete Alonso's 40th home run on Saturday. It just happened to be a little foul, but
when you say little, it was had to have been less than 2 feet.
I think I was guessing around 3 feet or so.
Really? I say
wide.
2.
I don't know. We got this shot online here.
Looks like an inch there.
Yeah, from this angle, MJ and Nancy, I don't know who shot the photo, but they share the Twitter account, took this photo and posted it the next morning. I believe it was maybe 2 feet foul, but as Pete noticed on the broadcast, he said I looked like a dork there holding my phone filming because I was trying to capture the 40th home run. I wanted the behind the scenes video of Pete's 40th home run.
The ball landed 2 feet from you,
Very
and
close.
you didn't even move for it.
I didn't want to drop the phone.
How do you not go for a ball, especially one that might have some history behind it?
I mean, it's the kind of thing where it was either try to catch the ball or drop my phone, and I just got the phone. I didn't want to break it, so I'm like, you know what? Let someone else get it.
You could just put the phone in your pocket
No.
and try to catch the ball.
That's
that. An option as well. You don't have to go full millennial here, recording everything you're doing and missing the real life moment.
I had to. That would have been a one in a lifetime video to
catching
capture.
the ball might be really once in a lifetime.
All right, so
yeah,
Lizzie,
but then I got the rebound, so.
Well, Lizzie got it anyway. Yeah.
Honestly, I haven't had a chance to talk to Lizzie about this yet because
I literally
she
just walked in the door, guys.
Show the people the ball. This is the almost 40th home run grand slam that was just
that would have
foul.
been a grand slam, holy.
But I want to ask you
balls.
this very important question because the fan that did catch the 40th home run yesterday gave it back to Pete Alonso. What would you do with that ball if that was the 40th home run?
We were talking about it, and I said if I had caught it and it was, then they definitely would have came to come and get it. And I don't know, what are my options?
Well, he was nice.
What do I get for this?
Well, Pete was
it's not worth anything.
No, I'm just kidding.
It's more for him than anything else.
Yeah, for sure.
It's
I would give
real
it back.
Baseball record.
Yeah, I would definitely give it back.
Well, they got hooked up.
What I mean.
Clearly, they get the signed bat, the ball. They got a bunch of stuff from Pete, and I think that it would have been
What
cool.
am I going to do with it? I mean, honestly, I would have put it on my shelf. Let him have it. It's his deal. It's his year. He's having an incredible year, so I would have given it back.
But, I mean, the video, I'm not going to play it now, but the video, it was unbelievable. Because I turned around, I knew it bounced behind me where...
You're not going to play the video?
Nah, it's whatever. People want to see it.
Because he looks like a dope in it staring at his phone.
All right,
That's why he doesn't want to play.
No, you should play your version
I will.
of it.
Oh,
You
you
know
got
what?
your version too.
Now that you guys are calling me out, sure.
Yeah, what the hell?
Hold on one second. Let me cue this up. I'm not ready.
And I just finished a lemon icy, so my tongue is yellow.
Here we go. Hold on.
That wasn't going to be an award-winning shot here, Darren. Go for the ball.
Look at how happy you look right there.
You know why? Because in all the years of me going to the games and printing the shirts for Citi Field to throw out to the crowd for the Pepsi Patrol or whatever they are, I've never caught anything. No balls, no T-shirts, any of the games I've ever been to. If I came home with a ball, it's because somebody was like, "Oh, here, Lizzie."
Yeah, no, that would have been obviously it would have been awesome for you to catch it. But to my credit, there, I was zoomed in for the swing, and when he hit it, I was so in shock that I didn't zoom out. That's why it's all bouncy and jumpy. But yeah, clearly I'm not winning any awards here in the ballpark for the filming.
Because I went to a game once. This was in college. This was a long time ago. We were in Pittsburgh, and there was a foul ball. It had to be right in front of us. And Ricky Henderson was with the Mets. He had hit the ball. So it was a Hall of Fame, hit a foul ball, whatever. And it's too far for me to reach, but it's right in front of my friend. And he's sitting there eating freaking pierogies. And he will not He will not move the pierogies. He did not move an inch for this foul ball. It's like, are you out of your mind? You know how many pierogies you can get at this ballpark?
They
You
sell
got one
pierogies
shot
at the ballpark?
catching a foul ball. Yeah,
Wow,
they have
that sounds-
pierogies in Pittsburgh. At least they used to.
That's
I don't know.
cool.
But
love
come on,
pierogies.
that's a once in a lifetime kind of thing. I don't understand it. You don't reach for the baseball. In that
I was
spot,
so
Darren.
excited.
It was an unbelievable experience all around, though. Like, we had so much fun. The tailgate, I said it, I did a little, I talked to the crowd before we leave the tailgate party just to thank everyone for coming, for bringing the supplies. And we had, I think, 30 people volunteer to bring coolers, multiple coolers, ice. Like, they really made the party what it was. But we hired a DJ Pure from Kansas City. Look him up if you're ever in the need of hiring someone in Kansas City. He did a stand-up knockdown job, whatever you want to call it. And I'm on the mic thanking the fans for coming and asked around, like, hey, a show of hands, how many people first-timers here? And you can actually hear the clip. Lizzie's like, oh, my God. Like, you can hear her in the back,
really?
like, this is awesome. Like, it was like the entire tent. Hands went up. And out of our season ticket members, we have a little over 600 members that join us at Citi Field. I think 80 or so showed up. So, a little bit more than 10% came out for the outing. But it was really great
It sounded
to meet
like it.
so many people. It was unbelievable.
It
but
was awesome, and so many people came up to me and thanking me. This is great. Who are you guys? Like, from Mets fans that were there just on their own that happened to live near or nearby or whatever, and a lot of people just saying, like, this is my first outing. I've always wanted to come. This is great, awesome, blah blah blah. It was really, really amazing.
But I
It was
think that Lizzie
great
may
time.
have overdid a little bit on Friday night, because at the
No.
tailgate she's chilling with her vitamin water, whatever
What
it was,
happened
coconut
was
water.
on Thursday. So I think that the older that I'm getting more sensitive to, like, things, my skin, my things, and
We're
whatever.
old. We're getting old.
Yeah. So on the way to Kansas City, we had to stop. So I had a connecting flight. I stopped in Chicago, and then we made our way there. So sorry, TMI, but on the first flight I puked twice, and on the second flight I puked again.
Oh, you've been
So-
getting that sickness, motion sickness.
Motion sickness.
Okay.
So when I got off of that second plane, I was like, oh my God. That feeling that, like, I was nauseous and dizzy and had that pit in my stomach did not go away until probably the game. So on Saturday, I didn't drink at all. Like, I pushed it on Friday night because I was like,
That sweet was
whatever, if
incredible.
I
Yeah,
drink,
yeah, yeah.
maybe it'll just go away.
Right.
Clearly it didn't. So I was totally messed up. So I don't even think it was so much
All right,
the
I take
drinking.
it back then. I'm
was
sorry
like,
to throw you under the bus there. I know you're feeling under the weather, but I thought maybe you just overdid it.
No,
on Friday.
I did have I didn't overdo it. I drank, but I didn't overdo it, and I think that my body was just like, you're stupid, and I'm gonna start shutting down on you. So when I woke up on Saturday, it was a mess.
Yeah, so before we move on from this, the whole tailgate party atmosphere, it was incredible. And I think that since, we were talking about this with the unique experience you get out there because of how large the parking lot is. And the Royals hooked us up. They gave us that whole area for free. Clearly, we had to rent the tent, but that tailgate party was probably
The
the
tent
best
definitely came in
one
handy.
we've ever had. And I feel like if and when Kansas City lands on a weekend, we absolutely have to go because that was phenomenal. But back to Friday night, my buddy Dan was sitting with us in those dugout suites, and if you look here closely, you could see him holding his face because a screaming line drive in the top of the first comes bouncing toward us. I think it was from the bat of Frazier. So the security guard goes, "Guys, pay attention over here. Balls come in here all the time." I'm like, "Yeah, we'll be fine." So we're all hanging out, chopping it up.
It's like
not really.
3 out of 4 games that I
a
am
ball
the
comes in
security
here.
for. A ball comes in.
So
this
the ball
area.
bounces over this railing, hits the back cement there on top of the dugout, and bounces right back into Dan's face, which
I
he's
have
holding
that
right
ball.
there.
I kept that ball for Dan.
Dan,
so
you
I
got a
have
lot
it
of lucky balls.
I have it in a Ziploc bag for you, Dan.
All right, guys. So if you are watching live and you see this bobblehead here on the desk, it is from our friends at Foco. 2 weeks in a row now, Foco hooking it up on orange and blue things. So share the show right now if you want to be in the running for this Pete Alonso Home Run Derby bobblehead. Pete's had a gigantic weekend. We'll talk about that in just a second. But this Pete Alonso bobblehead could be yours for free if you
That's
share the
really
show
cool.
right now on either Twitter, if you're watching on Twitter, or Periscope, or Facebook. We have one for each platform here. And if you don't happen to win and you want to go buy one, go over to foco.com. Check out all the different options they have for their Mets bobbleheads and accessories. Last week we did the Stranger Things bobbleheads. And today we have this Pete Alonso one, which here is $55 full price. So could get it for free right now if you share the show. If you happen to not win and you want to go purchase it, you can get 10% off by using the discount code LFGM10, no spaces. You'll get 10% off on anything in the Mets category on Foco.com. So thanks to them for hooking us up, and hope you win.
That's a sweet bobblehead too.
It's unbelievable.
It looks like him. Like that one is boom.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
Pete Alonso.
Yeah.
Now he shaved the beard. That's the only thing that throws off a little bit. But that's Pete Alonso to a T. That's a good one.
They do such a great job. I mean, I was even looking at I thought I was like, what, red cleats? Why is he wearing red cleats? And he was. So this thing is down to a T.
Even
lot of
like
cool.
the trophy and the medal.
You see this in the back? It's got a polar bear like hologram on top of
cool.
the Mets logo. It's really cool. So shout out to Foco. Really appreciate it. And head on over to the site now if you want to pick one up. If you don't win, so let's hit the phones. We got Brew, who is probably going to say first time, long time. What's up, Brew?
How you doing? First time, long time. I just got to say it for the fans.
We don't have your fat head in here this week.
I know. I moved it. It's over there.
Oh,
So
there it is. It is in here.
What's up, Brew? How'd you
Soft
like
camera.
the weekend, huh?
Oh, it was a short weekend. I flew in late Friday night, and I left at 7 a.m. Sunday morning. And I flew back to sunny California where nothing was delayed. And I feel sorry for everyone who did get delayed. I really do.
Yeah, you got lucky. So listen, you've been to a lot of the tailgate parties, you've been to a lot of the home games. How do you think that ranks as far as outings go? I don't want to rub it in to all the people that missed it, but what do you think?
Oh, no, that was probably hands down the best tailgate I've ever been. My quads are sore. My arms are sore.
I was gonna
Why are
say
your quads
you were
sore?
he was
was
dancing like a maniac.
His goal before the game, before the tailgate started, was to do the Macarena. So he started to do the Macarena for songs that weren't even the Macarena, and people were like into it. They jumped in on it, and it kind of turned into a thing. It was so much fun.
No, but big shout out to that group of fans from Nebraska. There was these group of fans from Nebraska. They were playing flip cup over in the corner,
Yeah.
and then their table kind of grew, and they got more people to jump in and play. But they did something during the DJ, and they had spin the bottle dance off.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Oh, that was like an amazing idea. And don't worry, I'm adapting it. They gave me okay to use it. And we're gonna bring it to our tailgates back home now. So we're gonna be bringing that back
that's
to
awesome.
the marina lot.
Awesome, right, Brew? Thanks for
Those guys were great.
helping build the excitement there. It was so much fun. We'll see you soon, all right, dude?
Yeah, man. Big up to you for that tailgate. That was a great tailgate.
Thanks, brother.
All right, talk to you soon.
I
Bye,
did see the
Justin.
video that you shared online of the spin the bottle dance off. That
It
was pretty
great.
cool. What
It
a
was
great idea.
And I forgot where those group of fans were from. And Brew just said Nebraska. He has a better memory than I do. But Kelly was ranting and raving about the one guy with like the gray headband because he was like the life of the party. It was great. It definitely added a lot to the atmosphere.
There was a group of people at a table that were playing some sort of flip cup game, but you flip the cup and then the other person has to catch it in their cup.
That's crazy.
I've never
I've
seen
seen the
it before.
tic-tac-toe flip cup. That's pretty cool.
I've never seen it before, and I was like, I want to play that. It was so cool, but I couldn't play with my coconut water.
So Mr. Pete Alonso hit his
so.
40th yesterday.
Yeah.
A no-doubter to left field. And unfortunately, we weren't there to see it, but I was lucky enough to be on my layover in Philly when this went down because we had claimed or said that when Pete hits number 40, the Polar Pete shirts are going to go back up. So clearly Lizzie was dealing with her nightmare traveling yesterday, and luckily my 1 hour delay in Philly, this is it. You're looking at the employees. So if we were both unavailable, the people would have been at the site like, what the hell? Where are the shirts? So luckily I was there to put it up, and Pete now is the reigning rookie in the National League for home runs in a season.
Yeah, set a record. Nobody in the 140-something year history of the National League, no rookie had ever hit 40 home runs.
That's
so
amazing.
It's
In
significant.
the NL. So
in the
Judge,
National League, yep. And then in the American League record is Aaron
52.
Judge 52,
Yeah.
which Alonso is right about on that pace. So if he stays healthy down the stretch, you can expect that. He's got another record that'll be coming up this week. That'll be important for Mets fans. Nobody in Mets history has ever hit 42 home runs.
Right.
Alonso's 2 away from that. And you would assume the way that he has gone, that'll happen at some point in this 9-game homestand coming up.
I'm hoping that we're there. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to be able to hit that many games this week. And, I'm really hoping that the excitement that we saw a couple weeks ago when the Nats were in town is going to kind of transfer back over.
I hope so. It
I
felt
don't think
like
it's gonna be the
lightning
same.
in a bottle
Yeah.
where you had this huge run that the Mets were on. They'd won 13-14 going into that series. And the fact that it is the Nationals. It's the team in this era that Mets fans love to hate the most. You don't quite have that on this homestand with the Indians, Braves, and the Cubs. But I do think that Cubs series will come the closest because they haven't been playing very good baseball of late. They're a terrible team on the road, and that's the team right now that the Mets are chasing. They're in the second wild card spot, so that's going to be a big series. And the Cubs and Mets have a little history going way back 50 years ago, or even as recently as the 2015 NLCS. So I think that's the series that might bring it a little bit. And I hope it's that same kind of atmosphere, because you know what? Even the Marlins series. Like, even if you didn't have the sellouts, you did have a lot of juice in those games. So, it's just kind of a question. Did they do enough on this road trip at 3-3 to keep Mets fans engaged at that rabid pace that everybody was in?
I mean, we were there for the doubleheader on the Monday a couple weeks ago, and you could just tell, even on that Monday for the first game, the place was jumping. Lizzie came for game 2. You and I both had left by that point. But, yeah, I mean, the place was packed, and hopefully the excitement kind of transfers back over to this week because, like Pete said and Conforto said and these guys have been alluding to, as you crack open a nice cold McKellar.
Yeah, I'm not waiting for you anymore.
The guys do feed off that energy that they see in the ballpark, so hopefully the place is jumping.
There's
again.
no doubt. I think it affected the team a little bit too in Atlanta. And come on, you play in front of a postseason type of atmosphere, and then you go down to Atlanta.
That was crazy.
It's a first place team, but nobody gives a hoot down there.
Right.
And you have the rain delays and all this stuff, and it's gotta take a little wind out of your sails. And I understand they're professionals; they should be able to work around it. But come on, there's got to be a hangover effect when you're playing the kind of games they played against the Nationals, and then it's just dead in Atlanta. And you wouldn't expect that. I would think as a player, you would think, all right, we're playing the first place team. There's going to be some juice, and there's just nothing down there. And it goes to show how special things are around here in New York where, hey, everybody's miserable with the Mets most of the year. They give you 2 great weeks, and bang, everybody's on board, and the place sounds like October.
I was actually looking at something yesterday. I think the Rays, have had back-to-back days with walk-offs or something. And a fan, I was watching the fans' perspective. They posted it online and talking about something with the energy or atmosphere. Place is empty. So granted, they're
good.
Yeah, they're a good team. They're still in the wild card hunt. They're a little bit farther down in the AL East there for the top spot. But place is dead. So for you to have the atmosphere where you have to play there 81 times a year, and for the team to be able to keep their energy levels up without even having the fans behind them, I think that's commendable. They probably have a lot more wins if they had a packed house all the time. Granted, like you said, it's a job. Can't feel as sorry for the guys, but you do have to,
it's human nature, right?
Somewhat feel, a little bad for the player who has no support from their fan base. That sucks.
Whenever we go to different ballparks, it's always the same thing. People start cheering, and when their team does well, they turn around to us and cheer at us. They're like, woo! And the perfect example of that was on Friday night when we were in the dugout
we don't have to
suite.
get into that.
No, I mean, we won't get into specifics, but one of the fans there only started cheering because in the 9th when her team was winning.
Yeah.
And somebody was like, why are you cheering now? She said, because my team is winning.
Yeah, it was like
what?
you're quiet for 3 hours.
Right.
And then the 9th inning you decide to start chirping. But in San Francisco, nothing will ever top what happened in San Fran. We were winning the entire game. Familia comes in to close the game, blows the save in the 9th, and the entire ballpark turns around to boo us and cheer their team on, which I don't blame them. It's
well, you know what
like
it is.
If you have, their head.
It's like if you have no reason to cheer as a fan the whole game because everything's going against your team, and then you have this one section that's just rah, 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 the whole time. Like all you want to do is your team to shut them up, and when it does happen,
that's the complete opposite of what we stand for.
So
So when the whole ballpark is quiet for their team, we're like, what's wrong with these people?
It's all good. You can't blame them. 631-388-5195. You want to chime in. Hopefully you guys are headed to the ballpark this week. Should be a fun one. Again, share the show if you're interested in winning this Pete Alonso Home Run Derby champion bobblehead from FOCO. Shout out to them. Use the promo code LFGM10. No spaces for 10% off anything Mets related on their website. But I did have this poll up. I put it up this morning. Asking I know I got to open this beer. Asking the fans what they thought Pete might end the season with. So he's got 40 now, 38 games left to play. What number will he end the season with? The options were 41 to 46, 47 to 51, 52 to 56, or 57 plus. I voted for 52 to 56 just because I'd love to see him hold the all-time rookie record and take it from Judge. But where do you see this happening? Where?
Yeah, so I did 47 to 51.
Yes, that's the bulk
I
of
think
it.
that's the
bulk
most likely spot that he ends up. But even just talking about a Met hitting 50 home runs kind of boggles my mind a little bit, right? Like you see Alonso on this list with Carlos Beltran and Mike Piazza and Darryl Strawberry, and it's, what, this guy just started.
Yeah.
And listen, I get 2019, it's never been easier to hit a home run in the game. You can't draw a straight line between what Darryl Strawberry did 30 years ago and what Pete Alonso is doing right now. But the Mets have never had somebody even threatened 50 home runs in a year, and that is still a magic number. And he is amongst the league leaders in the game right now. And him and Cody Bellinger were kind of going back and forth on Twitter yesterday, which was kind of cool to see. I don't know if they played together on Team USA or something along the lines, but it seemed like they had some familiarity. But yeah, it's tremendous what Pete Alonso has done this year, and he struggled a little bit after the home run derby, but he's come out of it, and he's hit for power again. He had 4 straight games with a homer at the end of last homestand, and the home run yesterday. It's not like it was in a huge spot, but clearly he is contributing. He had 3 hits in yesterday's game, so yeah, and he's going to start putting himself in that MVP conversation, especially with Jeff McNeil out, because McNeil's the guy to me that's the MVP of this Mets team. He's not as good offensively as Alonso is, but what he does defensively, playing in multiple positions, has just been tremendous for the Mets. But with McNeil out at this point, Alonso, he is putting up those sexy MVP type numbers with the RBIs and the home runs skyrocketing.
So yesterday during the post game, Justine had brought up, she mentioned that the fans were chanting MVP, MVP. So I happened to look it up because I know Ichiro was the Rookie of the Year and the MVP at the same time, and I forgot that prior to that in '75, clearly I wasn't born yet, but I know the name. Lynn did it in '75, so there's only been 2 guys that have ever done this before.
Wow,
both American League. Lynn in '75, Suzuki in 2001. So, I mean, we'll see. I mean, it's, we got 38 games left. We'll see what happens. And I think that the Mets getting back into this thing will add to it. Just in the same way of like manager of the year could be in the discussion for Mickey Callaway if they come back and actually do something here, which fans will be like, holy shit, like that's not possible. But it might, the numbers don't lie. And when you look at things on
deGrom
paper,
is in the mix for the Cy Young. I think he still has a long ways to go to catch up to Hyunjin Ryu, but deGrom now has a winning record, which is significant for him because he never seems to get the run support or has the bullpen behind him. But he hasn't lost since June. He has pitched to a sub-2 ERA over his last 16 starts now. So deGrom is doing over half a season exactly what he did for the entirety of last year. So he could be in that mix as well. So you do have some of the award chases that are part of the mix for the Mets. Obviously McNeil for a batting crown as well. Yeah,
I got the stats up here now. From a screen cap from SNY, and like you said, his numbers over the past 16 games is unbelievable. But do you think that clearly we all know something's up with the ball? The ball has changed, so it's impressive for the guys that are dropping bombs, and look at guys who are barely touching the ball, thinking it's a pop fly. Yesterday in was it Rendon Nationals?
I know he homered.
Yeah, but he actually popped up thinking that it was going to be a pop up, threw the bat, not trying to bat flip it, and it was a home run. And we got the first
Frazier
base.
Do that this year.
He apologized to the first baseman on the other team. I can't remember who they were playing yesterday, and he's like, "Sorry, man, I wasn't trying to pimp it. I thought it was an out." So
interesting.
This ball makes deGrom's stats even more impressive.
Yeah, I saw John Harper had tweeted that deGrom's only given up 1 home run over his last 7 games, and that's something that is so vital now because you give up, like you said, basically a pop-up, and it could get out of a ballpark. So you have to adjust how you pitch. And I think this has been Jacob deGrom's greatest strength since he came up. Since the first day he was in the big leagues against the Yankees back in 2014, is his ability to adjust.
Yeah.
Nobody adjusts like Jacob deGrom. He could do it within a start. He could do it within a season. I think that all of these pitchers, the slider has moved differently with the new baseball, and so they've all had to make changes, but deGrom was the quickest to figure it out, and now that slider is a swing and miss pitch again, and avoiding the home runs is not easy, but this is a guy who can pitch.
He's
Like,
a guy
he
who
is smart.
Even when he
He's
doesn't
good.
have his stuff, he finds a way.
Yeah,
it's great.
I mean, all the way through. And there are so many games you could point to, right? Game 5 of the division series against the Dodgers. He stunk the first inning and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, Terry's got to take him out. Terry's got to take him out. And then he rights the ship, and all of a sudden he's through 6 innings, and I think it was 2 runs that he gave up in that game. And it's like, how the hell did he do that? But he does it all the time, consistently. So, the fact that he's able to do it in a bigger picture here in the middle of the year, I don't think it's surprising at all. It goes to show the work that he puts in and the way he's going about it. He's a real throwback to when, guys thought it through. He's not just, hey, how hard can I throw this pitch?
Right.
It's how do I make it the most effective in the game we're playing. It's why Stroman's interesting, too, because Stroman's a ground ball pitcher. He doesn't give up a lot of home runs. That's a big plus in today's day and age. It's not easy to do to avoid those long balls.
I saw Stroman tweeting at Hot 97 a lot lately because he's a New York guy and he's got the day off. So last night he wrote something on Twitter. Hey, I got the day off. Maybe I'll pop into Hot 97. And if you're around, maybe he's in the studio today. I have no idea. But I love it. I love everything about the local guy just being back, and hopefully he continues with some success down the stretch here. We definitely need him. Speaking of success, how you feeling about the bullpen? Familia and Diaz had somewhat strong showings lately, and if we're going to do anything here, we got to have these guys back on their horse, right?
No, that's true. And Lugo had a rough day as well. Though I thought Mickey Callaway ruined all that. He had him getting ready in 5 minutes, and it didn't seem like. I guess you could argue it both ways, that either there was too much of a plan before the game, and we have the lead in the 7th, we're going to do this. But also, it didn't seem like...
He had no plan. He wasn't even sure what he was going to do tonight.
It seemed like it wasn't a plan on the other end, because he didn't seemingly tip off Lugo beforehand that, hey, if we have the lead, you're going to pitch this inning.
Right.
Because Lugo had to scramble to get ready in 5 minutes. And while, yes, Lugo said he was ready, he's going to say that to back up his manager. Doesn't necessarily mean it's the case. But when Lugo's thrown as well as he has over the last month, and the one outing that he pitches poorly is when he had to scramble to get ready, I got to think you could put 2 and 2 together there and say that was a factor for him. And it was, what the hell were they going to do in the 9th inning? Even if Lugo did throw the 7th and the 8th, he's going to mix and match with Justin Wilson and Edwin Diaz in the 9th. You wouldn't feel great about that. So that wasn't the best day this week. But, Diaz, he got through, yesterday after a couple men on, and then when Gagno gave up all those home runs on, was it the finale
Thursday,
in Atlanta, Diaz, he walks Brian McCann on 4 pitches, and you're like, oh my goodness, but he threw some backdoor sliders to Ender Inciarte and got him. I don't think you feel good about Diaz yet. I feel pretty good about Jeurys Familia right now. I will say that. So, I'm not throwing him in the closer's role, but at least, all right, I'm not going to flip out when he comes into a game. But yeah, the bullpen, you don't feel 1,000% about it yet, and I don't think you will until Edwin Diaz somehow turns it on, which becomes more and more unlikely an event to happen as this goes on and on and on. And he's going to hear boos on this homestand.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you worry about too.
Yeah.
He comes into a game now, the whole stadium's going to groan.
Right.
And if he doesn't perform well, it's all boos. It's going to be boos even when he comes in. That gets really challenging when things aren't going well.
It absolutely does. That's why I was trying to be so strongly, I haven't done it lately, but for a few days there, I was tweeting him every single day. Hey, be positive. You got this. I don't know if he reads it, but like we said last week, maybe he does, because he mentioned his positivity and or positive attitude or mentality on one of his post games. But Mickey, the other night, Thursday night, Mets had a strong big lead. So Gagno gave up 4 home runs, and after the game, Mickey goes, yeah, he did a good job. But I think that what he really meant was they needed someone to kind of eat up some innings there and get us through the rest of the game without burning the bullpen. But I wouldn't call
He didn't do a good job.
giving up 4 home runs and winning the game by the skin of your teeth a good job.
No.
Sitting
The
at
idea is
bar,
to give Edwin Diaz a day off.
Right.
Or what they really should have done is bring in Diaz when it's 10-4 for the 9th inning, like they did yesterday, to give him a little something to feel better about. Hey, I closed down the game. Okay, I got through this. And you can back him up if there's damage done with him on the mound, a 6-run lead. You have time to do all those things.
Right.
So they did it yesterday. You can't feel comfortable with Diaz right now.
So shout out to our friends at McKellar. Peter already cracked his open. I've just been kind of talking over here and haven't had a sip yet. So today,
You had a long weekend,
I know.
Some of us had to work this weekend.
Today, actually, on the drive here, I work hard on these trips. Mainly on my liver during the tailgate parties. But so I'm on the Butcher Beer today, new one from me, and you're on the Henry Hops. Cheers to you,
This
sir.
is my favorite. I love the Henry Hops. My go-to.
Always love drinking a beer on a Monday afternoon. Thanks to McKellar. And As you know, the Mets are back in town tomorrow. Big homestand coming up against the Cleveland Indians, the Atlanta Braves, and the Chicago Cubs. And the brewery opens 2 hours before the game, and don't forget that they're open for 2 hours after the game as well. So pop on in to McKellar down on 126th Street, a.k.a. Seaver Way. They're open every day. And even when they're not open, not open. Even when their game is not going on at the ballpark, they are open as well. So definitely check out their website, McKellarNYC.com. Check out all the beers they have, and check out their hours for the tap room.
I want to see that same atmosphere that we had against the Nationals.
God, that was so much fun.
So if you gotta jack up, get a little something extra going, hit McKellar.
I got to head to the ballpark this week to drop off a kiosk order. We have the Stroman shirts, PMA shirts, and Polar Pete shirts about to be back in stock at the ballpark. So I'm going to try to maybe drop the stuff off and see if I can pop into the game. I don't know what day this week. I got to talk to wifey about that. But give a call if you want to shout. Oh, actually, we got someone on here. But after we get off the phone, we only have one phone line here. So unfortunately, if people are calling and it's busy, once you see we're on the phone with someone, if we hang up, you could be next in line. So let's hit the phone. We got I was going to say a frequent flyer, but actually going to Kansas City was his first time ever being on an airplane in his life.
Whoa!
It's Mr. Rallyman. What's up, Rallyman?
What's up, PMA, playoff mental attitude, because we got 3 weeks of some challenging baseball.
Was the plane everything you imagine? I'm curious about this. I need to know everything about someone being on a plane for the first time.
Honestly, it was nothing. I felt like I could fly the fucking plane. It was that easy.
Oh, my God. Last year, some guy stole a plane. I don't know how he stole it, but I don't want you to be in the news anytime soon, Mr. Rallyman.
No,
not for that. Not for that. Maybe accolades, absolutely. But just to make it real quick, Kansas City was awesome. Love the Kansas City people. You had your sprinkles of dickhead Royals fans, but a lot of that's acclimated from alcohol and the whole deal, and 2015 World Series, we got some of that.
Yeah,
but all in all, nice people.
Yeah, pretty good time. I mean, the staff was top notch. The fans, like you said, there was only one guy. He had his name on his back said "Blew It," and it had 15 on it, and he wanted to walk up and down in front of us for like 3 innings. But whatever, he was trying to have fun with it. Yeah, it was a good time. Hopefully, that's one of the first of many of you jumping on a plane to join the group. It was fun. It was a fun tailgate party. I liked the atmosphere that everyone brought, and he had his belt out there, and it was a good time.
The cake
it was great. The beer bashing of the belt was quite a moment.
Yeah,
I was covered with beer by the end of that game. Pretty much, I stunk.
That's all right. You had a good time. All right, RM. We'll talk to you soon. All right, man.
All right, sounds good, guys. Let's go Mets.
So 2 guys who actually missed the entire week are Mr. Howie Rose and Gary Cohen. Howie was at a wedding. I don't know what Gary was doing. It's not our business to know what he's doing on vacation. But
hey, he gets vacation days. You use them, right?
Just sucks that it was the same week for these guys to both be off. And clearly, they both take vacation days. And the guys do a good job filling in. Gary Apple was on SNY, and he was getting a lot of hate on the internet, and I feel bad for the guy because that's not his job. He's not a play-by-play guy. So to kind of get thrown in, I don't know if he's done in the past, but that's not his role with SNY. So
sure.
Clearly, people that are fans of this team, not everyone, but people feel very strongly about Howie and Gary, and when there's someone else in their spot, it's going to be hard to fill their shoes.
Gary Apple's a really good sportscaster.
Right.
He's a tremendous sportscaster, right? On the pregame show, postgame show, after the games, he does do play-by-play for UConn Sports.
Okay.
But I think it's so different when you are in the ballpark versus watching on TV. And I think any fan can experience this, right? Where a guy hits a long fly ball and you're like, and then it ends up being like short of the warning track. And I just think you have to see so many games in person to get that feel. And, Gary Cohen, Howie Rose, Wayne Randazzo, how many games have these guys seen and called in person? And it is different. And I think there were, some times with Gary where that energy off the bat didn't match what ended up happening. And it's so technical, and you need so many reps to really be good at it. I think it's a tough spot for Gary to be
Especially
in, Gary
after...
Apple to be in. But I think he did a fine job. And the things that people were complaining about, I mean, I get it. But there are also things that you can identify with. It's just different being at the ballpark and saying what's going on and watching on TV.
We're just
where
so spoiled.
You're used to that angle, right?
We're just so spoiled. We have such a great.
Well, that's true. And Gary Cohen and Howie Rose, they are two the best. They should both be Ford C. Frick Award winners and Hall of Fame broadcasters. And I bet any amount of money that'll happen at some point. But
Howie's going to the New York Hall of Fame.
He just got into the New York Broadcasters Hall of Fame.
Yeah, the induction ceremony is in November. I think November 3rd. But yeah, we're just so spoiled because every night, whether you watch on TV or listen on the radio, we have such a tremendous booth.
Yeah.
And whoever was in their spot is kind of set up not to fail, but with the fan base, they expect a certain thing.
It's like when the games are on national TV, too, and everyone rips all the national broadcasters because it's not what you're accustomed to.
Yeah.
Also, baseball is so... not just rhythmic, but it's like intimate, right? You're with these people all the time watching the games. If you watch 4 games a week, you are watching, over 6 months, like 100 broadcasts, right?
Yep.
So you're very much invested in the people that you're spending that time with, and when they're gone, you notice it. So yeah, I understand it both ways, but I thought Gary Apple did a professional job stepping in the booth and being in that position.
Well, it's got to be tough too because clearly he's got the internet. And I'm hoping that he doesn't harp on going back to read the reactions afterwards. But
I just hope that people understand it, right? Like I always talk to young broadcasters because you think about the feedback that you get on a broadcaster, this or that, and it tends to be overwhelmingly negative. And I asked them about Joe Buck. And if you ask them about Joe Buck, most typically they'll go, I don't like him.
Right.
And like, this guy has called the biggest events in sports over the last 20-plus years now. He doesn't suck at his job. He really doesn't. But people just don't seem to like him, and he makes a joke of it on Twitter and that kind of thing. I mean, like, search Joe Buck on Twitter and see how much positive feedback he gets on any of his broadcasts. Again, this is one of the best sportscasters in the country. You really can't argue. It might not be your favorite national guy, but he's at that level for a reason. So, it's just... it goes with the territory, like, even doing the radio show that I did for a while, not everything you hear is positive, but just like, we talk about the players and what they're doing good or bad on a given day. It's all out there to be analyzed and talked about, and it's part of the conversation around the sport, and you gotta have some thick skin, you got to deal with it and be able to shake it off and understand where it's coming from.
Who else do you think is there anyone else in the SNY family that if Gary Apple doesn't get the call, like who else would they put in that spot?
Well, Wayne Randazzo has done it in the past, but it was because Howie took off the same weekend as Gary that Wayne wasn't an option to slide over on the TV side. So he's the one that has typically done it. If you remember back years ago, I think it was in Toronto, Ron Darling did play-by-play.
Oh, I do remember
He worked
that.
with Keith.
Yeah, I remember that.
Now,
it's a tough spot.
All respect to Ron, I would much prefer the broadcast that went on this past weekend to what happened there. Ron has a role that he's tremendous at, but it's a totally different ball game. Not just calling what's going on, but also incorporating your color guy and making it conversational and working with all the stuff that happens behind the scenes. Like it's a lot.
You know what I'm just thinking about? We've had 4 outings now where we've had fill-in booths because San Francisco KB was doing play-by-play back in 2014, and then the first time we went down to Atlanta, I think that Ron was actually doing it that night as well in 15 or 16 whenever we went down there first. And then Gary Apple was Toronto last year, and then Gary Apple was this past weekend in Kansas City. So a lot of fill-ins. I don't know if that's coincidence, but a lot of fill-ins when the Seven Line Army is on the road outings there. Let's hit the phones. Tyler in Tennessee. What's up, Tyler?
Hey, boys. Appreciate the time this afternoon. Look, I don't want to bring kind of the bad vibe Mickey Callaway thing to the table right now, but I'm looking ahead to rehabs for Jed Lowry. Fingers crossed he actually comes on the field this year. Brandon Nimmo actually is healthy and is taking swings right now. But if we could look a couple of series away where potentially these guys are back in the lineup, then you got to consider that McNeil's back in the lineup, and you can't take J.D. Davis's bat out of the lineup. Of course, depending on how his injury affected and things from yesterday. And rightfully so, there have been a lot of decisions this year where Mets fans have left the game going, how can Mickey do this? How can he do that?
Sure.
And it seems we never give him enough praise for the great things he does, but we're always on top of him for the bad things that he does. I can just see a fork in the road coming up in the next couple of weeks where you've got to find a way to fit those 4 to 5 names in the lineup, 1 through 8, and the one game that these guys aren't hitting, it just seems like that there's another conundrum that's waiting to happen throughout of all this positivity, and nobody better than me who would love to see this happen. I just see there being too many cooks in the kitchen, if you kind of get what I'm saying.
I think it's much easier to deal with a bunch of position players than it is to deal like he had to, let's say, this weekend where he's shoving a Rosario out into left field because J.D. Davis wasn't able to play that position. I don't think that'll be a problem. Mickey Callaway will get burned by his bullpen, and the lack of roles there, that's going to be the question almost every night. Every time the Mets play a close game, the microscope will be on Mickey Callaway's bullpen decisions. It already is. That's not going to change over the next month and a half because besides Seth Lugo, there's nobody to trust 100% in that pen.
Well, then let me just ask you this about Jed Lowry, and then I'll let you guys have the rest of the show. It just seems like things are going so well right now. Mm-hmm. And even to Brandon, the smile, the top of the lineup, the on-base percentage, it just seems like things are going well right now. And to your point, Pete, the bullpen right now, that's a whole other issue. But from a position situation, I get these guys are making money. What do you even do with a second-year manager trying to get good feng shui and I get it. Every game's different, but in the middle of this, you need their bats. I just question how do you even try to even start.
Well, Juan Lagares is playing every day right now. To me, Brandon Nimmo could take his spot. I know Lagares been hitting better of late, but that's something that Brandon Nimmo, if he's able to come back and prove he's healthy, he can do. Something else Nimmo has done well is hit off the bench as well. So if they don't want to start Nimmo, he's been a very good pinch hitter over the course of his career. And then Lowry, I wouldn't count on Lowry for anything. I don't see how he gets enough time in the minor leagues to be a productive player. So I think Lowry gets buried on the bench, period, even if he does come back in September.
All right, boys. Appreciate the time. Great show.
No, thanks, Tyler. Yeah, and Lowry, listen.
He's alive. He's alive.
Hey,
there is visual proof.
Hey, there's a picture of Jed Lowry. Look, anything you get out of him is a bonus, but even if he is able to come back now, he has no spring training. He is going to run out of minor league time early on in September. He's not going to have enough time to be where you need him to be. Jed Lowry is a total non-factor for this team, even if he does come back. You'd have the expanded rosters in September, so you could take a few at-bats, but I don't foresee him taking any important at-bats. Nimmo's a little different situation. I think Nimmo can come back and be a key piece for this team. He complements Juan Lagares well also in the outfield from the left-hand side versus the right-hand side. And I wouldn't throw Nimmo in the leadoff spot. You don't mess with what's going well at the top, but he can hit 8. That's fine. You just move him down the lineup. He's an improvement over Lagares, period.
I'm just hoping that, clearly the Mets have screwed things up in the past a couple times here and there with injuries and guys coming back a little too soon. I'm hoping that everything with Nimmo's okay because
McNeil's
that's a very serious injury with the whole neck and everything.
Yes, Nimmo's injury is a lot more long-term that you would be concerned about. But McNeil is probably the one that I would watch even closer because it's a hamstring, and it's the kind of thing that's not going to affect him for years. It's just kind of thing that could knock him out like Robinson Cano. For now you'd be talking about the rest of the season if he were to come back too soon. So that's the one that they really have to get right. And as eager as you are to get McNeil back into the lineup as quickly as possible, you have to be careful.
So you did bring up Rosario got a little time in left field, but yesterday before the game, I love when stuff like this comes up. You always see, or not always, but you see this often happen with
It happens a lot more than when we were kids,
yeah,
right?
I know. Players playing catch with, the kids in the stands before the game started. So this was on Twitter. Kaylin Bloom tweeted it. I don't know if she knows the kid, but she said, props to Ahmed for making this kid's life, and the Mets retweeted it. It's got a bunch of views online. So this is always great to see. And I don't know. It touches the heart a little bit there, Mr. P.
Oh, come on. Could you imagine being a kid and having a catch with a Major League Baseball player while you're out at the game? I thought it was cool yesterday, too. They had the Little League Classic. The Mets played in it against the Phillies last year. This year, or against the Pirates, I think it was. This year is the Pirates and the Cubs. So that was yesterday. I didn't watch the game, but I did see the Little League World Series yesterday in the afternoon because the Jersey team was playing Hawaii. And you had the players come in, and they're getting mobbed by the kids. And some of the guys were on like a cardboard box and sliding it down a hill, just kind of messing around and having some fun. And I think I saw Chris Archer sitting in the stands, signing some autographs and doing an interview on TV and stuff. And that's an awesome event. Remember last year when the Mets were in it, Syndergaard, Matz, like all those starting pitchers who weren't in the game, they all sat in the crowd and sat with the kids.
That was awesome.
And it's such a cool event. But those are the little things that you could do to connect yourself with kids. But yeah, could you imagine even now having a catch with a big leaguer on the field?
Did you see this last night? The first pitch before the game last night?
No.
So I don't know whose idea it was, but MLB tweeted this out. A bunch of the Little League players were lined up from the warning track all the way to the mound and kind of did a relay all the way in to throw the first pitch. I don't know if it's every country, every
dropped
team.
the ball.
Yeah, that guy. You hear the crowd kind of groan there for a second too, but I don't know how.
Well, it's all the kids in there, right? It's mostly Little Leaguers at this game.
Of course. So that was really cool. Nice touch there. One of the it says the best first pitch from the Little League World Series players.
I got to look up how the Jersey team did today because I know they were picking up the suspended game. They were already down 6-0 to Hawaii, but that's why they didn't pick it up yesterday is because they were all going to the Major League games. So they were like, all right, we'll just finish it up tomorrow. I hope they won. I'm sure that's done now.
If they did, we probably would have heard a lot about it on the internet. So I'm guessing they didn't, the local team there. So let me ask you a question, completely off topic here, but how do you feel about the New York State license plates? What's your thoughts of it? Do you
do I have an all-time favorite New York
do you like the
license
current
plate?
one?
Is it the current one is the light blue and blue?
It's dark blue and it's supposed to be honestly it'd be a lot better if it was orange and blue, but it's like off orange, off blue, so it doesn't really look like the state colors, but I hate
navy
it.
blue and
See, I take the subway everywhere. They don't have license plates.
Oh, it's actually right
Oh, that one there?
It's one in the middle there behind you.
Oh, yeah, not a big one. I like the one with the Statue of Liberty.
No,
Yeah,
so this
me too.
New York State came out today. They're holding an online vote to select the new New York State license plate.
Why do we have to change
Really?
the license plate every couple
Well,
of years?
you know what it is? I think that the same thing with MLB voting. I think they're really trying to collect data here because if you go to the New York State ny.gov website, it's email, first name, last name, postal code, and your vote. So I think they're just collecting some data here. But
You got to send some DNA too.
the online voting closes on September 2nd, and I'm liking it because it's back to predominantly white. I don't ever want to get rid of my white license plate, but there's 5 options here if you care to vote. I know this is not baseball related, but
Excelsior?
head on over. Yeah, Excelsior, New York Excelsior. There's 4 options there. I think I'm partial to
I like the
option
bottom
1 there.
two.
Really?
The first one's nice too.
Yeah, the bottom one's cool. And it's got the new Tappan Zee Bridge, which is not the Tappan Zee Bridge anymore. Let's hit the phones, and then after this last call, we're going to do What's in the Box. Let's see. Who do we got? What's going on? Oh, we got Shouty. What's up, Shouty?
Hi, Darren. Hi, Keedy. And hi, Liz, even though I already said hello to her. Hi, everybody. How are you guys doing? You guys just stoked me out all weekend. It was awesome watching, you guys just tear up KC. You were all over the place.
Yeah, we weren't trying to rub it in there, but you got to document it when it's a fun time. So hopefully that kind of builds up the excitement for some folks to join us in the future, you know?
Oh, I was if I could have really just jumped on a plane and Ubered it straight there, right from my couch, I'd have done it because you definitely did a good job. But I have to say, with all my PMA and my Love Fest, I have to tell you the beratement though when you guys get a shouty out on SNY, you think everybody'd be so excited, but yet the negative vibe off of people.
Yeah.
What's with that? I don't understand it. Are we not all fans? I don't get that.
Let me tell you something, Shouty. It's not breaking news that not everyone sits with us. It's not breaking news that not everyone likes our vibe or our atmosphere. So if we get a name drop from Keith Hernandez on TV, the people who don't like the crew, they're gonna get a little up in arms. Which whatever. I mean, no. If you look back in the 11 years that I've been doing this, no one from the inside, which would be me or Lizzie, have ever said we are better fans than you. But for whatever reason, it always comes up to where people think that we compare fandom, and we don't. We try to bring everyone in, not out. So whatever. I mean, don't worry about it. And I don't even engage in it anymore. And I would recommend that fans like you or whoever that want to reply to these people don't even bother because it kind of just sometimes it even makes it worse. So don't even worry about it.
That's exactly what I was going to say. At first, I was so taken back by it and going, tearing up. And I'm like, what do you mean? They're such sweet people. And everyone is great. We love everyone.
Do you watch
So I stopped.
Shouty, do you watch Seinfeld?
I do.
All right, well, do you remember Jerry's mom go, how could anyone not like you? You sound like Jerry's mom right now.
Oh, my God. But I dance like Elaine, apparently, according to my children. So yeah, that was like, woo! Yeah, looking forward to that spin the bottle game, whatever that thing was going on. I'm like, yeah, bring that to the next tailgate. I'm sure I'll be a riot for that. But no, I'm like, I just wanted to like spread the love and tell everybody, yes, please stop responding to like that negative, especially Mr. Shouty, if you're listening, because he gets upset. But we love you guys. We are all in welcoming those who don't know about us. We're just fans.
Right.
Not super, just fans like everybody else. So
all right,
let's go Mets and keep the train rolling, baby.
All right, Shouty, see you soon.
Shouty.
And Pete, put on a Mets shirt. What's with the polo?
Just hanging out.
This isn't a board meeting. This isn't Casual Friday.
Listen, now you're doing what we just said we don't do.
Now I'm hurt.
Now you're doing
I
it.
send nasty tweets.
No, he needs a Petey Pete shirt, or he needs a special shirt.
Right,
I don't know, like anything.
We'll make
but no,
something.
I'm looking forward to next tailgate and next outing, and let's go Mets. We got this.
Absolutely. All right, Shouty, later.
I feel very ostracized.
We're like, we don't compare fandom. And then she's like, Pete, wear a Met shirt.
I was thinking actually about that, about how like the haters are gonna hate.
Whatever.
Why don't they just join us and then like
Maybe
they'll-
they tried and they don't like it. Who cares? Doesn't matter.
all right, fine.
It's not a big deal. And, it makes it more of a big deal when people always want to reply to it. I think that we might be lagging a little bit for some reason on the internet again.
Yeah, we are.
Sorry about that. I don't know. Whatever. We'll have to do something during the off season, I guess, to maybe boost the signal here a little bit. But it's very sporadic. But next person to get through, we'll play What's in the Box, presented by our friends at Lumberland. But Shouty did bring up the next couple games. We have a few tickets left for the outing on September 10th. It's a Tuesday night at Citi Field. It's only $39. It comes with the ticket to the game, the Seven Lines 2019 jersey, and we're going to definitely be pre-gaming in McKellar prior. $39 for that one. I think there's like 40 tickets left or so. And this Thursday, the final home game of the year, final regular season home game of the year goes up at noon sharp. We have 242 tickets available. It is the Sunday game against the Braves. I believe it starts at 3:10. I know MLB starts
it's
all
the last
games.
day of the year.
Last game of the year.
Wow.
Last regular game of the year, regular season game of the year. It's that Sunday game against the Braves. And like we did last year, we are going to be hanging out after the game in the Pine. So we did like a big blowout rager after the final game last year. And it was a really fun time. And I'm glad that the Pine is welcoming us back, because it got a little rowdy there for a little bit. But it's going to be a fun time. Hopefully it's a celebration of making the playoffs, not a celebration of, all right, get them next year type of thing. So if you guys want to join us, tickets go up on Thursday at noon on Mets.com/the Seven Line Army. Those are $52 a piece for the ticket and the jersey, like we did for every game this year. And we're definitely going to be pre-gaming before that one. But like I said, it's going to be a marathon day, not a sprint. So definitely try to plan accordingly for the pre-game, the actual game, and then the post-game.
It's good advice.
Out at the Pine. The Pine's always a fun time. Shout out to Dina for holding it down over there. And the United We Cheers will be flowing, and we're going to have a good time out there. So let's get to What's in the Box.
And now it's time for everybody's favorite game, What's in the Box? Presented by Lumberland.com.
All right, so we got James and Yonkers. James, what's up? What's up, buddy?
James?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
We're doing all right, hanging out, drinking some beer on a Monday, talking about the Mets. You're going to play What's in the Box, but today it's only going to be 1, 2, or 3. We don't have a fourth option this week, so
You could take 4, but I don't recommend it.
yeah. So 1, 2, or 3, whatever's in the box is yours for free. Thanks to Lumberland.com. What you want?
All right. Well, since my softball number from my new team is number 2, got to go with number 2.
Yeah, I love when there's a little reason
A little
behind it.
reasoning.
All right, here we go. Number 2, it is an envelope. And the envelope says $40 gift card to Lumberland.
Awesome.
Awesome.
All right, James. So
Just email me your information, James.
just email us, and we'll get this out to you. All right, buddy?
All right, cool. Thanks a lot, guys.
Good stuff, James.
You're very welcome. And for those of you who aren't James and you got to buy your Lumberland.com beer bat mug, head on over to Lumberland.com and check out all their different options. They make great gifts. They have the MLB pennant series, so they don't have the license of the MLB, so they don't use the logos, but they do have city names and the same similar colors, but they do have the MLB PA license. So If your favorite player is not listed, you can always hit them up, and they'll make a custom one for you. If you want a, what did we get? We had a Jason Vargas one made just for the show. Clearly, he's not on the Mets anymore. So head on over to Lumberland.com and use the special promo code OABT for 15% off your bat mug today. So we talked about this last year, and we never actually got it done. We wanted to make like a custom bat mug for like caller of the year or something like that. So it would probably have to be between like Shouty or Rallyman, because they're like our crew there. But maybe we'll come up with something.
Brew's been coming up big the last few
weeks. Yeah, Brew's been first time, long timing for a year now. So maybe we'll come up with like a special Lumberland like caller mug that we can give out for our finale, whenever that may be. Hopefully, we talked about this because you got busy schedule. We're trying to figure out what the rest of the year looks like here. We're going to stay on Mondays, but we don't know when
we
the
have
last
one more
show
week
is.
of Monday, and then we're going to Thursday.
Oh, you're right.
Once it hits September, we're going to be Thursday afternoon.
We're going to keep the daytime though. I'm loving the daytime show.
Like
I know Lizzie likes it as well. Frees up our evenings, and the numbers don't lie. Our numbers have not changed at all. So we're doing good. Whatever time of day we were on, people are watching and listening afterwards. So we appreciate all that.
I have a question.
Sure.
When somebody catches a ball, right, and you want to remember where the ball came from, do you write on the ball?
Some people, I do. When we get ball. Well, I wouldn't write on that ball if that was the 40th home run. But
no.
When we get a ball, and I recommend if you catch a ball, if there's a kid close by, give it to a kid. But if you're trying to save a ball for whatever reason, which we do, like we'll get batting practice balls from a lot of these outings. If Amelia's with us and we write on it, so we save it. Like this is from San Diego. This is where it came from. Like that type of thing.
So you're saying I should write on the ball?
I can't wait until we can put it on a shelf and then have a little hologram. And you hit that, and you could see yourself catch the ball. Have that video.
We're
right?
probably not that far off.
There's your $1 million idea, people. Because I'm gonna go run with that.
And it'll be if you're watching this. Pete just gave you.
Give me a beer. We'll call it even.
I'd write on that. Say Pete Alonso's almost 40th home run with the date.
It was almost a historic catch.
Yeah, and put it like next to your ticket stub or something like that if you still have it.
I do.
All right, guys.
You guys have actual ticket stubs?
Yes.
Yeah.
For outings, we always do. Yeah.
Because the way that it works for our outings, and shout out to anyone coming to DC with us. We're working on that today.
Literally as we speak.
Right now.
I'm doing like 5,000 things. Yeah. I just want everybody to know that.
Look at that. So if you are coming to DC with us, look for that package in the mail soon. If you purchase the PMA shirt or the Stroman shirt, I'm not sure if you guys noticed that it was a pre-sale in the description. So look for that as well at some point this week. What was I getting at? The ticket stubs. So we need to have the ticket stubs because we have to do a seating chart. So the way that I hope they never get rid of that for these ballparks because we'd be kind of screwed. I don't even want to think about it. Lizzie just had the look of disgust on her face. If we have to somehow deal with like a digital seating chart in the future, it's going to be quite difficult.
Imagine I have to attach people's emails to the.
Oh my God, that would.
Oh my God, I would die.
That'd be horrible.
No, don't.
So
do that.
One last time before we do this share contest, Foco.com. Shout out to them. Head on over to Foco.com and check out all the different Mets options they have. They have a special promo code that's good for the next month. LFGM10 will get you 10% off anything on the site. If you don't win the Alonso home run derby batting champion bobblehead, you can go pick one up on Foco.com. Check out all the other stuff they got up there. And good luck. So, Lizzie, let me know when you're ready, and I will do the Twitter. You could do the FB.
I randomly selected somebody on my desk already. So.
Well, okay.
I selected Billy Hassan.
Okay, Billy, send him a.
I'm gonna send him. I think he may have been at KC.
That's cool.
Maybe.
Nice. Something nice to come home to.
Now, is that the bobblehead?
That'll be that's this
the
one
bobblehead,
here.
yeah.
Nice.
And let me pull it up on this Twitter. Sorry for the delay here, guys. I should have had this ready.
I'll tap dance.
Yeah. All right,
I'm tap dancing off camera. Stop.
All right, let me make sure this person hasn't won yet before I message them. They have not. Frank Bruno Jr., you win. Awesome. So, all right. So, Mets, big week ahead. You going to hit any games at Citi Field? You going to try to? Can you? Are you free? I mean, you got a busy schedule.
Yeah, I don't think so yet. I haven't reached quite that point. So we started daycare now.
Oh, yeah.
So my days are now open a little bit when I'm not working, but then the nights are now that much more important so that I can see my daughter at some point. So
no day
we'll
games
see.
coming up, so that might be tough for you. Like I said, I'm going to try to make it out there. Hopefully I can at some point this week when I do that delivery for the kiosk. But I'm excited. I'm juiced up, and clearly, like you said, when they were coming off the heels of like 13-14, the excitement was a little bit stronger than it is coming from 3-3 on the road. But I'm hoping to see Citi Field jam this week, and we don't have an outing until DC in a couple weeks. But I'm going to try to make it out there, and hopefully the place is jumping and the Mets get back, stay hot, get back in this thing. You know
what? Win the series against Cleveland, get everybody back in, and then I want to see the big crescendo finish and people going nuts for that series against the Cubs. That's ideal.
Hey, Fangraph says 40.4% playoff odds
it's
there.
maintained.
Yep. And if that happens, Chris Carlin has to get a polar bear tattoo. You heard about that?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Have fun. Enjoy your week. Welcome home to all you guys that traveled to Kansas City this weekend. It was so much fun. Can't wait to do it again. And see you next Monday. Let's go Mets.
I'm going to go take a nap.